The school bell rang, signaling the start of a new day. But for one girl, it marked an entirely new chapter in her life. As she stepped through the double doors of Maplewood Middle School, heads turned. Her name was Mia, and she was the new girl in town. With her bright red backpack slung over one shoulder and a determined look in her eyes, Mia walked confidently down the bustling hallway. Unlike most students who were busy chatting or checking their phones, Mia seemed to have a purpose. Mia had a unique style that made her stand out. Her hair was tied back in a high ponytail, and she wore a simple white t-shirt paired with vibrant blue sneakers. But it was the way she carried herself that truly caught attention. She walked with an air of self-assurance that hinted at something more than just being new. It suggested she had faced challenges before and come out stronger. As Mia made her way to her first class, she noticed groups of students laughing together, whispering secrets and sharing stories. A mix of excitement and nervousness bubbled inside her. She hoped to fit in, but also felt ready to embrace whatever came her way. Little did she know that not everyone would welcome her with open arms. In her first class, Mia sat quietly, observing the dynamics around her. The teacher introduced her to the class, encouraging everyone to make her feel welcome. While some students smiled politely at Mia, others exchanged glances that hinted at judgment. Among them were a group of girls led by Jenna, the school's unofficial queen bee. Jenna was known for her sharp tongue and fierce loyalty to her friends. As days passed, Mia's presence began to stir curiosity and jealousy. While she remained friendly and approachable, Jenna and her group viewed Mia as a threat. They whispered about how different she was and how they didn't like someone new capturing attention so easily. One afternoon during lunch, the tension reached its peak. Mia sat alone at a table, engrossed in her book about martial arts, completely unaware of the plotting that was happening a few tables away. Jenna decided it was time to teach the new girl a lesson in respect. "Hey, new girl!" Jenna shouted across the cafeteria, causing heads to turn once again. "Why don't you come over here? I think you've got something we want to talk about." The challenge in her voice echoed throughout the room. Mia looked up from her book, surprised but unafraid. She could feel the eyes of her classmates on her as Jenna's crew approached with bold strides. Instead of backing down or feeling intimidated, Mia stood tall, knowing she had faced tougher situations than this before. With each step closer they got, Mia's heart raced but also filled with resolve. She wasn't just any new girl. She had secrets of strength hidden beneath the surface. As Jenna reached out to push Mia's book aside, something inside Mia awakened. A fierce determination not just to protect herself, but also to show everyone that first impressions could be misleading. And so began the story of how one new girl would change everything at Maplewood Middle School. But first, she'd have to face those who underestimated her completely. As the first day of school continued, Mia felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The hallways buzzed with laughter and chatter, creating a vibrant atmosphere, but she couldn't shake the feeling that not everyone was ready to welcome her. After her introduction in class, whispers began to swirl around her like autumn leaves caught in a breeze. During lunch, Mia sat at a table by herself, flipping through the pages of her martial arts book, hoping to blend into the background. But even her choice of reading material seemed to draw unwanted attention. A few tables away, Jenna and her friends were huddled together, their eyes locked onto Mia. "Look at her, acting all tough with that book," Jenna sneered, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "What does she think she is? A superhero?" Her friends giggled along, and Mia could feel their eyes boring into her from across the cafeteria. Mia tried to ignore them, focusing on her book as if it were a shield against their harsh words. However, the giggles grew louder, transforming into taunts that cut through the noise of the bustling cafeteria. Jenna stood up, hands on her hips, and called out, "Hey, new girl! What's your deal? You think you're so special reading alone?" Some students turned to watch the drama unfold, intrigued by the confrontation. Mia felt her heart race as she lifted her gaze from her book. While part of her wanted to shrink back and avoid the spotlight, another part of her knew she had to stand her ground. She took a deep breath and responded calmly, "I just like to read." "Reading?" Jenna mocked, stepping closer with that familiar group of girls trailing behind her. "You know you'd fit in better if you did something fun instead of hiding behind a book." Mia clenched her fists under the table but forced herself to stay composed. She understood that Jenna was trying to provoke her, but she refused to play into it. Instead of giving in to anger or embarrassment, Mia simply smiled and replied, "I enjoy my time alone. It's peaceful." Jenna rolled her eyes dramatically and waved a hand dismissively. "Peaceful? That sounds boring. Why don't you come join us instead? We can show you how to really have fun." The challenge in her voice was unmistakable. As they continued their taunts, Mia felt a wave of frustration wash over her. It was hard being the new girl, especially when it felt like everyone was eager to push her down instead of lift her up. In that moment, she remembered why she had come to this school, not just for a fresh start, but also to prove to herself that she could handle whatever challenges came her way. Just then, Mia stood up from the table, surprising even herself. "You know what? I'm not here to fit into your idea of fun," she said confidently, surprising the group with her sudden assertiveness. "I'm here to be me." The cafeteria fell silent for a moment as students absorbed Mia's words. Jenna's expression shifted from amusement to annoyance, clearly taken aback by Mia's boldness. It was clear that this wasn't just a battle of wits. It was the beginning of something bigger. In that instant, Mia realized she wouldn't let anyone define who she was or how she should act. Even as Jenna's group glared at her with disdain, Mia felt empowered by her choice, ready to face whatever came next, and determined not to back down from the challenges ahead. The cafeteria buzzed with energy, but tension filled the air around Mia. She had managed to brush off Jenna's earlier taunts, standing her ground and choosing not to engage. However, Jenna was not one to let the matter go. After watching Mia gain a bit of confidence, she decided it was time to take things further. As Mia sat at her table, engrossed in her martial arts book, Jenna huddled with her friends and concocted a plan that would shake Mia's newfound boldness. "Let's show her what happens when you think you can just walk in here and be different," Jenna sneered, her eyes narrowing. The group nodded in agreement, their expressions determined as they stalked toward Mia. Mia sensed the shift in the atmosphere even before she saw them approach. Her instincts tingled, and she felt the hairs on the back of her neck stand up as they drew closer. Trying to stay calm, she turned a page in her book, but the noise around her faded into the background as her heart began to race. "Hey, new girl!" Jenna called out again, this time louder and more aggressive than before. "What are you hiding behind that book for? Scared?" The other girls laughed mockingly as they surrounded her table, casting a shadow over Mia's escape route. Mia looked up slowly, meeting Jenna's piercing stare with unwavering eyes. She could feel the weight of those glares pressing down on her, but deep inside, she grew more resolute. "I'm not scared," she replied firmly. With that simple statement, Jenna lunged forward, snatching the book from Mia's hands and flipping it upside down as if it were nothing more than trash. "Let's see how tough you really are without your precious book," she taunted, while tossing it back onto the table with a loud thud. Mia's heart sank for a moment as the sound echoed through the cafeteria like a bomb going off. She took a deep breath, reminding herself of all those lessons learned during years of training in martial arts. Remain calm under pressure, and never let anyone take your power away from you. "Why do you care so much about what I do or read?" Mia asked calmly, trying to keep control of her emotions even as frustration bubbled within her. "Isn't it boring to pick on someone just because they don't fit into your little group?" The laughter that erupted from Jenna and her friends was cruel and sharp. Their eyes glinted with mischief. "Because it's fun!" one of them shouted back mockingly. Suddenly feeling a surge of courage wash over her like fire through ice water, Mia stood up from the table. The movement surprised everyone around, including herself. "You know what? I don't need this drama." Her voice carried over the din of chatter now silenced by their unexpected confrontation. Jenna stepped closer with an intimidating glare, but Mia held her ground firmly. All those hours spent practicing self-defense flashed through her mind. This was nothing like sparring on a mat. This was real life. "Back off," Mia said defiantly, making eye contact with each girl around her in turn. "I'm not afraid of you." For a brief moment, confusion flickered across Jenna's face. She clearly didn't expect such resistance from someone she considered an easy target. The other students nearby watched intently as an electrifying silence filled the cafeteria once again. It was then that Mia realized this confrontation was not just about defending herself against bullies. It was about asserting who she truly was, a fierce spirit unwilling to back down against any challenge. And in that moment of clarity amidst chaos, something shifted not only within Mia, but also among those witnessing it unfold before their eyes. As the days went on, the tension between Mia and Jenna's group didn't just linger, it grew. The cafeteria scene had become the talk of the school, with whispers circulating about Mia's bold stand against Jenna. Some admired her courage, while others remained skeptical, unsure if she could back up her words with action. Mia had been anxious about how things would unfold after that confrontation, but she felt a newfound determination within. It wasn't just about standing up to bullies. It was about showing her true self. Little did her classmates know that beneath her calm exterior lay a secret that made her even more formidable. Mia was a black belt SEAL. One afternoon, after school let out, Mia headed to the gym for her usual training session. It was a place where she felt truly at home, surrounded by punching bags and mats that absorbed every kick and punch she delivered. She remembered how she had started martial arts as a way to gain confidence and discipline after moving around so much. With each belt she earned, she felt stronger and more empowered. As she practiced her kicks and punches, Mia reflected on how different things were now at school. She thought about how Jenna's mocking laughter felt like distant echoes when compared to the satisfaction of mastering another technique or breaking boards during training. This was where her strength came from, years of hard work and dedication. But what if Jenna found out? The thought sent a shiver down Mia's spine. She had kept her martial arts background hidden for now, thinking it best not to reveal too much too soon. However, as she practiced a particularly difficult kick, an idea sparked in her mind. Maybe it was time to show everyone exactly who she was. The next day at school, Mia entered the gym for physical education class with a plan. As students gathered for their activities, she noticed Jenna and her friends whispering in their usual corner, eyeing her warily but still trying to maintain their facade of confidence. Today would be different. Today would be an opportunity to shift the narrative. During gym class, after some warm-up exercises led by their teacher, the students were separated into pairs for sparring practice, a chance to showcase their skills in a controlled environment. Mia paired up with Emma, one of the quieter girls who had been friendly since day one. As they prepared to begin, Jenna couldn't resist throwing another jab Mia's way. "Hey, you think you can handle this? You might want to stick to reading your books." Her laughter rang out through the gym. Mia took a deep breath and felt adrenaline surge through her body. "I think I'll manage just fine," she replied confidently. When it was time for sparring matches to start, Mia stepped onto the mat with Emma across from her. The teacher blew his whistle, signaling them to begin. In an instant, Mia launched into movement, swift kicks and precise footwork showcasing everything she had learned over years of training. The other students stopped what they were doing as they watched in awe. Even Jenna's laughter faltered as they witnessed Mia's impressive agility and grace on display. With every powerful kick and quick jab, Mia revealed not only her skills, but also the strength of character that came from being true to herself. After several rounds of sparring that left both Emma breathless and exhilarated by how well they matched up against each other, it became clear. Mia wasn't just tough, she was extraordinary. With every move made on that mat under watchful eyes, something shifted within the walls of Maplewood Middle School. Perceptions changed as peers began to see past their initial judgments toward recognizing strength in someone who dared to be different. Today marked not just another gym class, it marked a turning point for Mia, one where secrets became strengths and bravery blossomed into respect from those who once doubted her entirely. After Mia's stunning performance during the sparring session, the atmosphere in the gym was charged with a mix of awe and newfound respect. Students who had once whispered behind her back now approached her with admiration in their eyes. Even those who had joined in Jenna's teasing were beginning to reconsider their actions. As Mia caught her breath, she noticed Jenna standing off to the side, arms crossed and fuming. The crowd had turned from onlookers to supporters, and Jenna's confidence was clearly rattled. This was a change she hadn't expected, and it made her uncomfortable. "Not bad for a bookworm," Mia heard one student say, laughter laced with sincerity rather than mockery. She couldn't help but smile. The realization that she had gained respect felt empowering. It reinforced her belief in being true to herself. That afternoon, as they walked out of the gym, a small group of girls approached Mia, including Emma, who had been her sparring partner. "You were amazing out there," Emma exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "I had no idea you could kick like that." "Thanks. It's just something I've practiced for years," Mia replied humbly, but she felt the pride swell inside her. "I know it may seem odd to some people, but martial arts have really helped me feel strong." Just then, Jenna stepped forward, hesitating for a moment. Mia," she started, her tone softer than usual. It surprised everyone that she was addressing Mia directly after all that had happened. "I'm sorry for how I treated you before. I didn't know you were, you know, that good." The words hang in the air awkwardly, as if Jenna were not accustomed to admitting she was wrong. Mia looked at Jenna, surprised by this sudden change of heart, but also cautious. "Thanks for saying that," Mia said carefully. "But it's not just about being good at something. We should really give people a chance before judging them, right?" Everyone around them nodded in agreement, reflecting on how easily they had jumped to conclusions based on appearances alone. They realized now that Mia's quiet nature belied a strong spirit and remarkable talent. This lesson resonated deeply with many students who had participated in the teasing. "I guess we just thought you were an easy target because you didn't act like everyone else," another girl admitted sheepishly. "I can see we were wrong about you." Mia smiled warmly. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes the most interesting people don't always stand out in loud ways. As the conversation continued, more students joined in, sharing their own experiences of feeling judged or misunderstood. They began to understand each other better and formed connections that transcended earlier rivalries and misunderstandings. From that day forward, Mia became a go-to person for advice on self-defense techniques and empowerment. Students admired her not only for her martial arts skills, but also for her kindness and willingness to stand up on behalf of others who felt marginalized. Thus, through courage and resilience, Mia transformed not just herself, but also the entire student body at Maplewood Middle School. The lesson learned extended not only to how they perceived Mia, but also to how they viewed themselves and each other. With each passing day, the school took a step closer to becoming a place where respect flourished and differences were celebrated instead of mocked. Ultimately, Mia's story wasn't just about fighting off bullies. It was about breaking down barriers and learning the significance of respect and understanding among peers. Through her journey, she taught everyone that true strength lies not only in physical ability, but also in openness and acceptance. With the newfound respect Mia had earned, she felt more confident as she walked through the hallways of Maplewood Middle School. However, she knew that not everything was resolved with Jenna and her group. Rumors of their jealousy and resentment still hung in the air, and she could sense that tensions were simmering beneath the surface. One afternoon after school, as Mia was leaving the gym, she heard voices behind her. "There she is, the Karate Kid," came a mocking voice that made her heart race. She turned and saw Jenna and her friends blocking her path, their faces twisted in annoyance. "What do you want?" Mia asked, keeping her voice steady despite the flutter of nerves in her stomach. Jenna stepped forward, smirking. "Oh, we just want to see if you're really as tough as you think you are. Let's have a little showdown, just you and me. I'm sure everyone would love to see how a black belt bookworm fights." Mia glanced around and noticed a few students gathering nearby, intrigued by the challenge. This was not just about her anymore. It was an opportunity to show everyone that standing up for oneself didn't have to involve aggression or hostility. She took a deep breath, preparing herself for what was to come. "All right," Mia replied, "but let's do this respectfully." She knew that the best way to turn things around was to showcase her skills without losing her cool. With the crowd watching closely, they moved to a nearby grassy area outside, where there was enough space for them to spar safely. There was an air of anticipation among the students. They had never seen Jenna challenge someone like this. Mia faced Jenna, who had an aggressive stance, but Mia maintained a calm demeanor. "Just remember," Mia said softly, "it's not about winning or losing. It's about showing respect for each other." As they began, Jenna lunged forward with wild swings, relying on brute force rather than technique. But Mia had trained hard and understood how to use her opponent's energy against them. She sidestepped Jenna's attack effortlessly and countered with a swift kick that knocked the wind out of Jenna's sails. The crowd gasped in surprise, but Mia remained focused. She knew that now was her chance to demonstrate not just her skills, but also her control over the situation. With every movement, she used precision and finesse, blocking Jenna's strikes while delivering controlled responses that kept Jenna off balance. "Come on!" Jenna shouted angrily after a few exchanges where Mia had successfully defended herself. "Fight back for real!" Mia paused for a moment, taking a deep breath to steady herself. "I am fighting back, but I don't need to hurt you to prove it," she replied gently. The message resonated not only with Jenna, but also with the onlookers who had been eagerly watching the spectacle unfold. They began to see how Mia's approach differed from their expectations of what a fight should be like. Instead of escalating aggression, she demonstrated respect and restraint. After several more exchanges where Mia showcased her ability to remain calm under pressure, Jenna finally stepped back, panting heavily. The anger in her eyes began to fade, replaced by confusion and a hint of admiration. "You really are something else," Jenna admitted grudgingly as she wiped sweat from her brow. Mia smiled gently. "We all have our strengths. It's important we recognize and respect them in each other." The crowd erupted into applause, celebrating not just Mia's skills, but also the powerful message she conveyed about strength through respect. In that moment, something shifted between them. What began as an aggressive confrontation transformed into mutual understanding, a lesson learned by everyone present about how true strength comes from within and manifests through kindness and respect rather than hostility. In the days following Mia's showdown with Jenna, the atmosphere at Maplewood Middle School began to change dramatically. What once felt like a hostile environment for Mia turned into a space of opportunity for new friendships to blossom. The students who had once viewed her with suspicion and jealousy were beginning to see her in a different light. Word of Mia's impressive performance during the sparring session spread quickly through the school. No longer just the new girl or the bookworm, she was now recognized as a skilled martial artist who approached challenges with grace and strength. Many girls who had previously been part of Jenna's crew found themselves drawn to Mia's confidence and kindness. One day, after school, a few of these girls, including Emma, gathered near the gym entrance. They hesitated at first, but finally decided to approach Mia as she was packing her things into her backpack. "Hey, Mia!" Emma called out, her voice friendly but still laced with uncertainty. "Do you mind if we join you for a bit?" Mia looked up, surprised but pleased. "Of course, what's up?" Jenna's friends, Sarah and Lily, exchanged glances before stepping forward. "We wanted to say we're sorry for how we treated you before," Sarah said hesitantly. "It wasn't cool, and we didn't know anything about you." Lily nodded in agreement. "Yeah, we thought you were just some girl who read books all day. We had no idea you were so talented." Mia smiled warmly, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. "Thank you. It means a lot that you came to talk to me. I understand how easy it is to judge someone without really knowing them." The girls settled onto the benches nearby as Mia shared stories of her martial arts journey, explaining how it had helped her build confidence and resilience over the years. The other girls listened intently, captivated by her experiences and determination. "I've always struggled with being new," Mia admitted, "so I get how intimidating it can be when someone stands out or seems different." Emma chimed in. "We thought we were just protecting our group or whatever, but now I see that standing together doesn't mean being mean to others." The other girls nodded in agreement, reflecting on their earlier behavior. As they continued talking, they found common ground in shared experiences of feeling out of place and wanting acceptance. With each conversation, barriers began to break down as laughter replaced tension. In the weeks that followed, more students gravitated towards Mia. They invited her to join their lunch table, where she shared stories not just about martial arts, but also her hobbies and interests in reading and art. Bonds formed naturally through discussions about their lives, dreams, and struggles. Mia's kindness and willingness to accept others helped soften the hearts of those who had once bullied her. Even Jenna began to soften toward Mia. She often observed from a distance during lunch, but eventually joined the group herself. One afternoon after school, Jenna approached Mia with a hesitant smile. "I'd like to learn some self-defense moves," she said shyly. The change in Jenna's tone spoke volumes about how far they had come since their initial confrontations. "Absolutely. Let's set up some practice sessions," Mia replied, her eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. Through mutual respect and open conversation, the girls transformed their relationships from rivalry into friendship. By embracing each other's differences and discovering common ground, they created an environment where everyone felt valued and included. The once divided group now stood united, showing that strength lies not only in physical abilities, but also in empathy and understanding. As friendships flourished among them all, they truly learned what it meant to support one another, a lesson that would carry them through many challenges ahead. As time passed at Maplewood Middle School, Mia's positive influence began to ripple through the student body. Her story, from being bullied to standing up for herself and gaining respect, inspired many students who had once felt powerless. The transformation of Mia from a target into a role model spurred a newfound interest in self-defense among her classmates. One day during lunch, Mia sat with her group of friends when Emma excitedly burst into their conversation. "You guys wouldn't believe it! A bunch of students want to learn self-defense!" She beamed with enthusiasm, clearly excited about the idea. "They said they've seen how brave you are, Mia, and they want to be just like you." Mia's heart swelled with pride at the thought of her peers wanting to take charge of their safety and confidence. "That's amazing! I'd love to help out," she replied eagerly. "Self-defense isn't just about fighting, it's about feeling empowered and knowing how to protect yourself." With great excitement, word spread around school that Mia would host informal self-defense workshops after classes. Curious students filled the gym as they gathered on the mats, their eyes wide with anticipation as Mia prepared to teach. The first session was an overwhelming success. Mia demonstrated basic techniques such as stances, blocks, and how to escape from grabs or holds, all while explaining the importance of awareness and confidence in any situation. She encouraged everyone, reminding them that strength comes in many forms: mental focus, quick thinking, and having the courage to stand up for oneself. As the workshops gained popularity, students began sharing their experiences of bullying or feeling unsafe, finding solace in the understanding that they weren't alone. Each session ended with empowering discussions where participants supported one another through shared challenges. Mia noticed how engaged everyone was, from shy students who had previously kept quiet to those who had been bullies themselves, but were now eager to change their ways. Jenna often attended the sessions, actively participating and asking thoughtful questions about techniques or situations where one might need to defend themselves. "I never realized how vital it is to stay alert," Jenna admitted one day after practice, surprised at how much there was to learn beyond simply throwing punches. "I feel like I'm not only getting fit, but also becoming more aware of my surroundings." Encouraged by Mia's influence and guidance, students started forming a supportive community based on empowerment rather than intimidation. They began standing together against bullying by establishing peer-led initiatives where they could help others feel safe and respected throughout school grounds. The atmosphere transformed as more students rallied behind this movement for positivity and support. Instead of gossiping behind backs or mocking differences, kids learned how powerful they could be by lifting each other up. Soon enough, teachers noticed these changes too. They praised Mia's workshops during school assemblies, affirming that her efforts went beyond physical defense. They were creating an environment where kindness reigned over cruelty. Thanks to Mia's unwavering spirit and passion for self-improvement, Maplewood Middle School became a model for other schools in the district, with programs focused on building confidence among students while addressing bullying head-on. Through her journey, both inside and outside the dojo, Mia showed her classmates that true strength lies not only in physical prowess, but also in using one's voice for good. Her influence rippled far beyond martial arts. It fostered resilience within hearts, ready to change their narrative into one filled with support, respect, and friendship instead of fear and isolation. As the school year progressed, the positive changes at Maplewood Middle School became increasingly apparent. The once divided student body was now a tapestry of vibrant friendships, built on mutual respect and understanding. Mia's influence had ignited a powerful shift, reminding everyone that true strength goes beyond physical abilities. It encompasses empathy, support, and the courage to stand up for one another. The self-defense workshops that Mia initiated not only equipped her classmates with valuable skills, but also fostered meaningful connections among students. Every session ended with discussions that transcended combat techniques. They explored feelings of insecurity, experiences with bullying, and personal triumphs. Students who once felt isolated found their voices in this supportive environment, sharing their stories and discovering common ground. Mia's ability to teach self-defense became a metaphor for standing up against not just physical threats, but also emotional ones. She encouraged her peers to confront their fears and insecurities with confidence. In doing so, she inspired them to recognize that everyone struggles in different ways and that kindness can often be a powerful form of defense. The transformations were evident even in those who had once bullied others. Jenna became an active participant, not just in the self-defense classes, but also took the initiative to lead discussions about anti-bullying strategies. She openly shared her own past mistakes and how Mia's unwavering spirit inspired her to change her behavior. This openness resonated with many students, leading them to reconsider their own actions. Teachers began observing the remarkable changes in the school culture as well. The hallways buzzed less with whispers of gossip and more with laughter and encouragement. The environment became one where students celebrated each other's successes instead of tearing each other down. Teachers praised Mia for her leadership and initiative during school assemblies, encouraging all students to take part in fostering a kind atmosphere. One afternoon, during a school-wide event focused on teamwork and collaboration, Mia took center stage to share her journey, her struggles, her victories, and most importantly, what she learned about respect and kindness along the way. We've all faced challenges, she reminded everyone, but it's how we choose to react that defines us. Let's lift each other up instead of pushing one another down. Mia's words resonated deeply within the hearts of those present, serving as a reminder that every student had the power to impact their surroundings positively. Those who had initially judged or bullied began taking steps toward reconciliation, offering apologies, forming new friendships, and helping their peers whenever they could. Ultimately, Maplewood Middle School blossomed into a community where diversity was celebrated rather than mocked. Every student felt valued for who they were, rather than how they appeared on the outside. Together, they embraced differences that once separated them, different backgrounds, interests, and experiences, and learned that these differences were not threats, but gifts. As graduation approached, Mia stood proudly alongside her friends, a testament to what can happen when individuals come together in respect and understanding. The lessons learned echoed far beyond their time at Maplewood. They would carry these values into high school and beyond. In reflecting upon Mia's journey from being bullied to becoming an inspired leader within her school community, it was clear: kindness has the power to transform lives. Understanding can build bridges where walls once stood, and respect fosters lasting friendships among even the most unlikely groups. Through Mia's influence, students rediscovered their strength, not just as individuals, but as a united force committed to supporting one another in every challenge they may face ahead. As Mia prepared to graduate from Maplewood Middle School, she took a moment to reflect on her incredible journey and the profound changes that had unfolded within her school community. What began as a struggle for acceptance had transformed into a powerful narrative of resilience, growth, and the importance of embracing differences. Mia felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, not just for her own achievements, but for the collective spirit of camaraderie that had flourished among her peers. Throughout her time at Maplewood, Mia had learned that everyone has their own unique story, shaped by personal challenges and triumphs. Each student brought something special to the table, different backgrounds, talents, and perspectives that enriched the tapestry of their school life. She recognized that true strength comes from acknowledging those differences rather than allowing them to create division. Standing on the brink of new beginnings, Mia was eager to share her final thoughts as part of the graduation ceremony. When it was her turn to speak, she looked out at her fellow students, friends who had once been strangers, and felt a surge of emotion. Today, she started confidently, we celebrate each other and everything we've accomplished together. This journey has shown us that our differences are what make us strong. Mia continued to emphasize the importance of accepting others as they are. Everyone here has faced their own battles, she explained passionately. We've all made mistakes or been misunderstood, but through understanding one another, we can build connections that go beyond appearances or first impressions. Her words resonated deeply with students and teachers alike, as Mia encouraged everyone to foster friendships with those who might seem different or unfamiliar. She recounted how a simple act of kindness could set off a chain reaction, how deciding to be supportive could ignite change and inspire others to stand up against negativity or bullying. What makes us unique should be celebrated, she exclaimed, pointing out how embracing diversity enriches their lives and creates a nurturing environment where everyone feels valued and heard. Imagine if we took just one step, a small gesture, to reach out to someone new each day. We would cultivate friendships that can transform not just our school, but our lives. As students listened intently, they could feel a powerful shift in perspective taking hold. Many nodded in agreement, while others exchanged glances filled with newfound understanding of what Mia was advocating. In closing, Mia urged her classmates not only to cherish their friendships, but also to carry these lessons into their future endeavors, at high school and beyond. Remember, she said with conviction, each one of you has the power to uplift others. By embracing respect and kindness in your daily interactions, you can become agents of change for those around you. The applause erupted from every corner of the gymnasium as students stood up in support of Mia's heartfelt message about acceptance and unity. It was clear that the seeds planted throughout their time at Maplewood would continue to grow long after this chapter ended. As they paused for photographs later during the celebrations, students took care to connect with friends old and new, eagerly sharing laughter, stories, and dreams for what lay ahead. They left knowing that they were bound together by more than just shared experiences. They were linked by respect for one another's truths. Graduation marked not just an ending, but also an exciting beginning filled with possibilities. Each student holding fast to valuable lessons learned through Mia's unwavering courage and spirit. In celebrating differences instead of fearing them, they forged bonds stronger than any bullying or prejudice could ever shake. Through her journey as the new girl, Mia taught everyone at Maplewood Middle School that acceptance can lead to remarkable transformations, not only within each person, but throughout their entire community. The echoes of her message would resonate long after they left those hallways, changing lives wherever they went, as reminders that kindness is truly powerful when accompanied by understanding.